The first time I heard about JSON, I thought, oh, yet another syntax I have to learn to be a front-end developer. But let me tell you, it's way easier than you might think, because JSON is JavaScript's little cousin. Today we're going to look at what JSON is, what it's used for, and how we use it. JSON is short for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a so-called data representation format. JSON is primarily used to send data with APIs and to write configs. The advantages of JSON over other data representation formats are it's lightweight and easy to read and write. For example, it's better than XML because it has not so many opening and closing tags. Those are primary reasons why JSON is so widely adopted. Here we can see an XML file. It looks almost like HTML, where JSON is way more lightweight. But I don't want to spoil you here, let's continue with the theory. JSON works great with JavaScript, because the name already says it's coming from JavaScript. More precisely, it's a subset of JavaScript. That means JSON is valid JavaScript. So at the end of the day, JSON is a file type where we send bigger amounts of information from a sender to a recipient. JSON accepts these types: string, numbers, booleans, arrays, objects, and null. And we can see this is where the origins of JavaScript show. So let's go over how we write JSON. The rules are simple. We have key value pairs using double quotes around the key and value if the value is a string. We have a colon between the key and value like in normal JavaScript. And this is where the difference lies between JavaScript and JSON, where we don't use quotes around the key. The elements are separated with a comma, and an important thing is that the last element should not have a comma at the end. So here is what a JSON could look like. We have the opening curly braces, which we always use. Then we have our first array with name, with a string, rating with a number, classic with a boolean. And then we have actors, which is another array with other strings inside. So in JSON we can nest arrays. Or here we have the sequels, which is another object that has another key value pair with another key value pair with a nested array with strings. So we can see in JSON we can nest a lot of different objects and arrays. And we can see inside the objects we have no closing comma at the end, and even the last object has no closing comma at the end, which is very important in JSON. Of course, this was just an example here, a real life example from the GitHub API, which we can see we have the double quotes here around the key and the string. And this is what a real life API JSON would look like. With this array, which is a little bit simpler than the JSON we have seen before, I want to show you two primary functions we have with JSON. We use JSON stringify to convert our JavaScript object to JSON format. We can see that if we console log movies2, which is the stringified array of movies. Here we can see our array in the JSON format. Another function is to parse JSON format to a JavaScript object, which is called JSON parse. And this is how we usually work with JSON. If you get JSON from an API, for example, we usually get it back as a string, like we can see here. So what we need to do is to convert it to a JavaScript object. For that, we use JSON parse. So if we console log movies3, which is the parse array from movie2, so the array you see here, then we get back our JavaScript objects we can use in our application. So what we did is we converted movies into JSON and then converted it back to a JavaScript array. Another thing that I want to show you is that we can use JSON directly in our JavaScript function. So what we can do is take this, put this equal to a variable, and then we can console log the array. So we see even though this is JSON format, we can use it in our JavaScript. As a recap, JSON is a file type with a syntax very similar to JavaScript, and it's used commonly to send data between servers, especially via API. We either prepare data as JSON with JSON stringify to then send it to an API, or if you get data from an API, we use JSON parse to convert it to a JavaScript object. And that's pretty much all there is to what JSON is and how we use it. I hope this video helped. If it did, leave it a like, and if you want to see more videos like that, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.